World Culture Wrestling, my name is Simon Miller, and I know it's a bit weird that I am doing the news, but here's the reason why. Such a funny guy. It's the bank holiday weekend, so sometimes you got to move the bits and pieces around. It's like a chessboard, and that's what I'm about to do now. I'm going to bring you a pro wrestling update, and I tell you, a lot has gone down in the pro wrestling world. Some of the things some people don't even believe, but hopefully we can put that to bed right now. Let's do some damn news. The first piece is actually quite surprising, and I know when I woke up from my slumber, because that is when I first saw it, I didn't believe it either, but when you go and do a bit of research and a bit of looking, it does certainly seem like the one and only CM Punk returned to wrestling these past couple of days, but he did it in a way you may not expect. Happening at MKE Wrestling's The Dark Knight event, this is what went down. There were some wrestlers in the ring, then a guy in a mask came bundling out from the back and he gave somebody a GTS, and you remember the GTS, before dragging someone else over the person he just destroyed, and then he snuck back out of the arena. At no point did he remove the hood that covered his face, and really, if that had been it, that would have been it. We wouldn't have been talking about it, but then hours later, a bunch of people were saying, actually man, this guy was CM Punk. You know what? It probably was, because not only were wrestlers backstage saying it was the voice of the voiceless, but he was also doing a meet and greet at the same show earlier in the day. And if you go and find pictures from that meet and greet, he's wearing a specific jumper. And guess what jumper the masked man was wearing? But a few hours later during this show. If you haven't figured out it was the same jumper, I don't know what to tell you. That was the case. Even though this has blown a lot of people's minds to the point a lot of fans simply won't believe it, because why would CM Punk, this former WWE superstar and world champion, make his return in this guise? Well, it's nice and simple. One, Punk has never been a guy to follow the expected rulebook, and two, back in 2016, when he was having an interview, the man even said, if I ever was going to return to pro wrestling, it wouldn't be like some big whoop hoo-ha, I can't believe it. I'd probably just pretend to be a ninja in a small wrestling show. And I wouldn't really say he was a ninja in this sense. He did sneak around like a ninja. He was masked like a ninja. So if you're asking me, was this CM Punk's return to pro wrestling? I'm going to say absolutely yes, although I don't think it's like a proper comeback. I don't think now he's going to go on some big tear. I mean, as soon as that happened, there were rumors saying that Tony Khan's, the first person he wanted Tony Khan for AEW was CM Punk, and CM Punk turned him down. I just think he did it because a bunch of his friends was on the show and he wanted to have a good time. And you know what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There are also some mumblings that the plan at one point was to unmask, but that seems utterly irrelevant to me. He didn't do that, and maybe this is exactly what he wanted the internet wrestling world to do. Can you believe it? It's exactly what the internet wrestling world has gone and done. It's fun though, and there's nothing wrong with fun. I respect CM Punk. I like what he did in the MMA world. A lot of people crap all over him, but you gotta follow your dreams. Even if those dreams don't go according to plan, at least then when you're an old man or woman, you can look back and go, at least I damn well tried. Following on from that is the news that Enzo and Big Cass, and you remember them, they were fired from WWE last year, and did that shock angle at the G1 Supercard around about, 3-4 weeks ago? Well, apparently they're already done with Ring of Honor, so that will be their full tenure there. They came out, they had a big schmoz fight with Bubba Ray, or Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him these days, on the outside of the ring. We were meant to think it's real, it wasn't real, and now somehow reality has come into this story, and they've been told they're not wanted anymore. Seems like a massive waste of time. There are some interesting tidbits here though, because apparently what we did see, or if you did see if you were in the arena that night, wasn't what was meant to happen. It was just supposed to be like a 30-second thing that got people talking, and everybody got carried away, and we just had a big fight at ringside. Because of course we did. Anytime Enzo Amore is involved in anything, the world seems to explode. It seems to come down to the amount of people that actually knew about this, because once it was over and done with, a load of Ring of Honor officials and probably New Japan guys too were like, I didn't really appreciate that. You should have consulted me, because I would have said this is 100% something we shouldn't have done. That created a political environment backstage to the point that everyone has agreed, all right, we don't want to ruin what we have here, we'll just forget about it and move on. And again, like I've already said, I'll say it again, it does make it incredibly pointless. They could of course change their minds at any time, and if they do, the angle and the storyline are already in place. But yeah, apparently Big Cass, Enzo Amore, they ain't affiliated with Ring of Honor, so we'll have to see what they do in wrestling next. Don't have an answer for that. I feel like I'm kind of done with them a little bit because controversy seems to stalk them like a cat. Shifting on to WWE news, we were meant to have a Backlash pay-per-view in June 2019, or at least that is what WWE had filed when they released their touring schedule earlier in the year. Well, now everyone's saying the Backlash 2019 has been cancelled. And if you want to know why, it's simple. It was going to go down around the same time as WWE's next Saudi Arabia event, and they've decided they don't want two pay-per-views that close together. And that also likely means that these Saudi Arabia events are actually going to fit into the 12-month calendar pay-per-view schedule. And well, given that they've just got rid of Backlash, I think that kind of sums it up because you absolutely know there will be Backlash the next time WWE goes to Saudi Arabia. Again, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty there. If you don't know, just Google it. It will take you around about 8 seconds to figure it all out. And there had been some plans to do it, don't get me wrong, because the arena in San Diego that was going to host said show had even made graphics and probably had some posters around the place. But now that idea has been nixed. So again, if you thought these Saudi Arabia events were going anywhere, you were sadly mistaken. I think we've had a year of them. I think it was a 10-year deal. We've got 9 years. 9 years left of these. We've got a lot of chatting to do. More worrying one this, but Daniel Bryan was pulled from all house show events over this weekend. And if you have been keeping a keen eye on WWE television, you will have noticed that ever since he lost the World Championship to Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania 35, we haven't seen Mr. Bryan, and that's because he's injured. Now, if this was any other wrestler on the roster, we probably could just be like, well, you know, it's wrestling, these things happen. But if you're like me and sometimes feel like Daniel Bryan's dad, after everything that happened with his head and his brain and concussions and retiring from the ring for the last 2 years, I'm worried. That's what I'm going to say. I'm worried. I hope it's not been a relapse of his concussions or his seizures or anything like that, because don't forget, what did Kofi Kingston do to Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania? And I'm sure it was, of course it was all planned. I'm not trying to affiliate anything else there. He stomped on his head, much like Bryan had been doing to his opponents up to the show of shows. And maybe that triggered something. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's an elbow problem or a knee problem or just anything he can get over. I don't think I can handle Daniel Bryan coming back out and retiring again. Not after everything he's done as a heel recently. It'd be too much for me. I may have to just push my head into that sofa, which you can't see, and just wait for it all to blow over and then pretend like it never happened. Last couple of bits too, because incredibly at Double or Nothing, which goes down in around about 1 month's time, we found out who Cody Rhodes is going to be facing, or I should say just Cody. And he is indeed going to be taking on his own brother. You'll know him as Dustin Rhodes, or of course Goldust, who has now been released from the WWE, and according to him on his old Twitter account, it was him that asked to be let go, and he's now heading to the main event, or Double or Nothing, to take on his damn brother. Now, I've been wondering for ages who the hell Cody was going to face, but I think this is the best person they could have summoned from the ground, because we've wanted to see that brother versus brother match ever since WWE just killed that feud a few years ago, and I think if they tell the right story, we could get invested in this. And imagine they have a really good match, and I don't know, they have some brotherly hug or some family love, and that turns them into a tag team, which then down the line means you're going to have Cody and Dustin taking on the Young Bucks. I think you could tell a damn good narrative there. I know that I would want to tune in. Dustin has also been putting up some really cool videos where he's essentially said he's retiring the Goldust character. And given that's been going on for what, almost 25 years, a salute to Dustin Runnels for being probably one of the most underrated wrestlers we've seen for a long time. And that character, look at the longevity of that character. I mean, really, it's only people like The Undertaker you could compare it to, and that means he's made his mark. And it also means that Double or Nothing, I think, will have quite an emotional fight as Cody takes on Dustin. I'm excited. When I saw that and I watched the video they did it in the Double or Nothing YouTube series, I was like, yes, this is correct. This is right. Keep on moving. And lastly, you may have seen the Shield documentary that WWE did on the network around about 12 to 15 hours ago. And it was strongly hinted within that Dean Ambrose may not be going back to the indie scene. He may not be going to All Elite Wrestling. He may be done with wrestling altogether and actually retiring. Now, who knows if that's reality or fiction, or Dean Ambrose trying to get inside our heads, so when he does appear someone else, we go, oh, I can't believe it. But maybe he is just completely burnt out. That's why he turned down a big contract from WWE. He just doesn't want to do it anymore. And again, if he doesn't, fair play to him, fair play to have the courage to walk away from something you've obviously loved for a very long time. So on that one, we'll shelve it over here and watch this space I wanted to tell you. Well, I've told you. And that's it. That's all the news you need from over the last couple of days. Thank you very much for watching. While you are here, make sure you leave a comment below and let us know, especially about CM Punk. What do you think about CM Punk? Was it CM Punk? Was it not CM Punk? Again, if you ask me, I'm going to say 99.9% after reading all the information out there, it was CM Punk, and that's cool. If he wants to do things, he's a human being, you know. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. If that's what he wants to do, good for him. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to What Culture Wrestling so you can watch more content as you go. Head over to whatculture.com, read yourself some articles, especially news, and then you've got to follow What Culture on Twitter and What Culture WWE, so news just gets pinged into your face all the time. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you very much for joining me on this very different, original, unique episode of the news here. I always appreciate seeing your faces, even though I can't really, but I envision them through this little box, and it always makes me feel nice, and it always makes me feel warm, and it always makes me feel fuzzy. You make sure you have yourself a great Monday, and I will see you soon, probably tomorrow when we up those downs for Raw.